up, guys? I'm Kyle Milan, and today I'm here with
Alex Brown,
sales manager at MFG Tribe, personalizing industrial sales. So just 2 days ago, we talked about personalizing it for industrial marketing. Today, we're going to talk about it from a sales standpoint. Alex, what is your take on personalization for industrial sales?
well, I mean, are you just giving me a broad base? Should I
Yeah,
go
just
broad
just
first?
in general, yeah, set it up.
It is incredibly important with whether it be your LinkedIn messages or any sort of outreach that you guys are doing. Make sure that it's customized. And when I say customized, it doesn't necessarily have to be, hey, Billy Bob, I saw like that you celebrated a birthday recently. Customize it to what kind of industry that they're in. Are they in metals? Are they in plastics? Are they in machinery? Are they in CNC? Really do a little bit of research in what you're doing in your outbound, because you are way more likely to get them to respond if you add some sort of customization or personalization into there. Whether that be you see that they're going to a trade show and you're like, hey, I see that you're going to be going to a trade show. I'm going to the XYZ trade show as well, just like we're going to NPE. If I see somebody when I'm coming across LinkedIn that's engaging with my content that I'm following, or something like that, that is going to NPE, that's my first in right there, especially over these next couple weeks. Hey, I'm going to be at NPE. I see that you are as well going to be at NPE with your company. You know, ask the next question. Are you guys have a booth? Are you guys just walking? How many days are you guys going to stay? What's your goal to complete there? Are you trying to purchase? Are you trying to sell? What are you trying to do? Just to open up the conversation, because you really will, as we always say, really harp on that relationship building if you're going in and customizing and personalizing what your outreach is. Because again, they're more likely to respond, they're more likely to engage, they actually appreciate the fact that you understand and know what kind of industry that they're in, what they're trying to accomplish, and what they're trying to do in general, versus just a broad base, hey, this is what we offer, are you interested? 99.9% of people are not going to engage in that, because they're going to be like, yeah, whatever. Even if they do have something to do, even if they have a product or service that could use your product or service, they're going to go, whatever. I don't want to look at that.
Yeah, so let's break that down. Who's drawing today?
You're drawing.
I'm drawing?
I have chicken scratch handwriting.
Okay, I'm going to do some stick figures.
We actually need like Laura or Caitlin or one of the writers to write, because they write really nice.
So number one with personalization, let's talk about outbound. You just touched on a couple of points. So let's talk about outbound. So outbound personalization, that's where Alex is saying, looking at the different channels. So if you're doing LinkedIn and you're sending them a connection request, you could go cheesy and be like, and this is where I think I would disagree with a lot of people out there that say, like, get super custom with your connection requests, because I feel like most people don't even like read them in detail, right? Yeah. So it's like I don't feel like you need to, on your connection request on LinkedIn, say, notice that you've been with this company for this amount of time, congratulations, would love to connect with you. I feel like connection requests can just be straightforward to the point. Look, we're in the same industry. I want to connect with you. Let's go. But like what Alex is saying about your messages, the more that you can pay attention to what it is that person's doing, the higher likelihood you'll have to get them to stop and pause, because it's relevant what you're saying, right? So like Alex said, we're going to NPE here in 2 weeks. We're going to spend 5 days in Orlando going to the plastics show. And if he sees somebody that says that they're also going to NPE, and Alex puts a comment on their post or sends them a message and say, hey, dude, you're going to NPE? We're going to be there too. Let's hook up. He's way more likely to read that and be like, who is this guy, Alex? And look at his profile than if Alex just said, hey, we do industrial marketing for companies like yours. Or like, hey, dude, would love to sell you this product or service. So personalization on the outbound standpoint, you got LinkedIn, you
email marketing,
messaging, right?
Even your cold calling. If you guys are going to do a little bit of research, don't just be like, hey, John, and spew your thing, relate to them. Be like, hey, especially if they answer and they give you an opportunity to actually do a little bit of pitching, say, hey, we have done business with CNC clients in the past. We sell to CNC, all CNC industries. We sell to all metal forming. We sell these kind of products, because they know that you are not necessarily just trying to get, in the door and sell them something. They know that you've done the research, that you know that you can offer them some sort of product or service that can help them. And again, the relationship building, are more likely to purchase if you have shown your value. And doing a little bit of research, even if it's like 2 minutes or 30 seconds before you make a cold call, just kind of looking in and making sure that your pitch aligns with what they are currently doing, because it makes you look really bad if you're pitching something to somebody and they have no use for it. They're like, well, I don't even have a use for that. Then boom, calls over. Even if some other service that you have they could use, the call's over at that point.
Yeah, so doing some research to customize as much as possible without getting too overly crazy, right? You could bring customization in if you're using AI bots or any sort of automation tools out there, because you can pull in first name, last name, company, etc. But it just comes down to, if you're going outbound with it, you need to try and be like, all you're trying to do is get people to stop and pause and look at your stuff for like 3 to 5 seconds, right? Because they get hit with so many different things throughout their day. If you can say something that's relevant with some personalization, which is going to come from the personalization, then that has a higher likelihood to get them to be like, hey, this guy took the time, let me at least look at it, right?
Exactly.
All right, so besides outbound, what's another area?
I mean, there's a lot of areas that you can use customization. I would say, or
if we were to say like a category.
I don't know. What do you think? You have to give me an example here.
So we got outbound. Let's talk about
proposal. You can be customizing your proposal.
Yeah, but so for them, most of them are going to be RFQs and stuff like that, to where it's already customized to their product or service. Sure. You could say, okay, let's talk about the pitch, right? So to what you just said, the proposal, it's really like, it's taking one step back, the pitch.
Summing up the pitch is basically the proposal.
Right. So the proposal is the end of the pitch, but how are you guys doing your pitching? Are you guys going in there and saying,
show up and throw up?
Show up and throw up? Are you guys going in there asking questions to then get personal and customize everything around offering up a solution, instead of just selling spec sheets and stuff like that? You're like, hey, we had a conversation. I asked you all these questions. So based on all that, here's the problem you're looking to solve. This is how you would solve it. I feel like there's personalization and customization in that as well.
Yeah, I would say that your pitch is probably your most important thing to customize and to personalize as well, because if you've gotten them to agree to do a discovery call, even if they're coming through, your website and they're filling out a discovery call link and you haven't actually spoken with them yet, making sure that you guys, again, doing your research, looking into what they're doing, looking into the services they offer, looking into the products they have to offer, looking in to see whether there is not only one thing, but maybe multiple things that your company can offer, whether that be a product and a service, whether that just be the product end or whether that be multiple services that you have to offer. Making sure that when you go into that discovery call, you're ready. Kind of a little bit of background. If they have LinkedIn, go on their LinkedIn, see what they like to do, see if they've posted anything of things they like to do, because usually you can get some sort of information off of someone's LinkedIn, even their social media. I'm not talking you're going there stalking them and trying to find like weird things, but if you log on, you see somebody that likes golf. I love golf. So immediately if I, see somebody likes golf, that's going to be one of the first things that I bring up, especially now that summer's coming around. Hey, have you gotten to play any cool golf recently? You got any rounds, scheduled? You got any tee times on the calendar here soon? Because that, again, relationship building, that's where it starts. And then the pitch, making sure that when you're going into the pitch, when you have your pitch deck, you might have, slides on your pitch deck that, you click through. Skip some of the slides that after doing research aren't really relevant to that potential client. Making sure that the slides that you show, because if you start going 2-3 slides in and it has nothing to do with what they are looking into or a product or service that they can use, they're going to switch off. And if you go then to a slide that actually has something that they need or some information that is relevant towards them, they're way less likely to actually listen and be engaged, because you've already lost them in some area where they're like, okay, I don't need to use this product or service. When we're pitching, I make sure one of my first questions is, what are you currently doing? If they're already currently doing one of the services that we have to offer, my next question is going to be, how happy are you with it? If they say they're happy, then for the most part, I'm going to let them know that we have that service to offer, but I'm going to say, okay, hey, they're okay with this service right now. I'm not going to hammer on this service because they already have it covered. Let me hammer on the services that we know that we can offer that they're not currently doing.
Yeah, so for like those of you out there that are selling equipment, right? If you went in and said, here's our equipment line, it ranges from this to this, these are all the things that it could do, that's the wrong way to pitch. You got to go into and say, what's the application that you have right now? Then let me tell you which product would solve that issue that you're having with that application and how much it would cost, right? That's what it all comes down to. If you walk in and you have, let's say, a machine shop, and you say, hey, look, we got 15 5-axis CNC machines, we got 3 verticals, we got some lathes, we got X, Y, and Z. What do you got to put in it? That's just like that's what I mean by selling like a spec sheet or like a line card or just an equipment list, right? You don't want to go in and sell it like that. You want to go in and say, look, we're a high tier CNC machine shop that's producing high quality parts with precision and accuracy and the highest quality standards out there. That's let's say how your pitch starts. Do you currently have any applications where you're looking for a new supplier or vendor in X, Y, and Z type of capacity? And you just ask them that question. If they say, nope, I'm good to go, my supply chain's on lockdown, you could ask them a follow-up question and say, how many suppliers do you currently have that's serving your CNC machining needs, right? To get a little bit more information and then put it in your CRM system and move on to the next person because you don't want to try and sell people that you can't sell to. But asking those questions to then see what are their current problems, what are the issues that they're having. So like Alex says, when we do discovery calls, it's like, what are you currently doing and what are you trying to get from that? If you're currently doing nothing, what's your goal? Are you trying to increase revenue by 20% year over year? Are you trying to just increase brand? Are you trying to gain market share in a specific vertical and industry? Are you trying to beat out a specific customer or competition? Like, what is it specifically that you're looking to do? And then let us develop a custom solution to it. It's no different. Our services that we offer to industrial manufacturing companies like you guys is no different. The pitch is still the same. It's just the devil in the details of what you're actually pitching. I mean, I'm willing to bet that Alex has done it so many times in the past year and a half that he can walk in, grab one of your services that you guys have, and just go through our normal process. Because I built our process based on me being an industrial. Just go through asking these really general questions, right?
Yeah.
Open-ended questions. He could do that for what you guys sell or what service you have or product and probably get people to be interested, even if he has no knowledge in the actual technical side of what you guys do.
Yeah.
Because it's more about the sales process. It's more about, let me build this rapport, build the trust, ask them questions to then come up with and develop a solution. And that's where it's typically missing in industrial sales. They just want to go in there and be like, it's like shoving a square peg in a round hole. They're like, well, this is what we have. You guys need to use it, and here's why. And you completely miss all of the sales cycles.
Yeah, and Kyle touched on the CRM, putting it in there. If you have clients and customers, and this doesn't only pertain to new clients and new customers. If you have customers that you know that are been past customers that are currently using you, that have the opportunity to potentially grow with you, using that customer purchase history and maybe their browsing behavior. If you're sitting there and your CRM system is actually tracking when they're coming onto to your website, looking what they're doing, to suggest specific industrial parts and services that are more relevant to their ongoing projects. Because you're going to be able to sit there and go, okay, hey, I know that they've purchased this from us in the past. So the next step would be to do this. We do it with our services. Hey, we've started off here. We've grown the business now to X, and now it's time to add even more fuel to the fire, more services that we have to offer. We have a plethora of services that we offer, and you guys have a plethora of products and services that you guys have to offer. So if you're selling them a machine, the next thing, if you sell them parts to the machine, in a couple of years, there's going to be some parts that they're going to need to replace, making sure that you're keeping track of that, making sure that they're aware that you can service that you can replace the parts that are in there. There are so many different avenues for you guys in industrial sales to make sure that you are maintaining that relationship and keeping that ongoing relationship going forward, because we're all industrial. Once we get comfortable with somebody, we're very comfortable. As long as they're not messing up to the point where we can't complete something, we're very unlikely to move. But if you get that relationship, but that's also because a lot of us are good at relationship building. The industrial realm is a very personable. I mean, I go to trade shows. I came from government. I go to trade shows. The amount of personability that's in industrial really makes it easy for you to customize, because as long as you show some sort of a resource that they can use, some sort of information, some sort of news, something new to them, they're really likely to listen, versus a lot of other industries will just shut you off immediately. They don't care. A lot of industrial want to learn, and they want to be a part of the industrial community. So you guys have an advantage there.
Exactly. All right, let's go. What I feel is the last point. So we talked about outbound, right? So before we get into the questions, comments, we talked about outbound. That's everything at the top of the funnel, right? So if we just build up a funnel here, outbound's at the top. Then you got the pitch, which is right at the top of when it gets choked down. Number 3, this is where the money's at.
The follow-up.
The follow-up. So the follow-up is you already quoted. Now you're trying to convert, right? So it's right here before they become a customer. So customizing the follow-up. What do you think about that, Alex?
When I'm sending my follow-up emails, when I'm doing my follow-up calls, when I'm doing my follow-ups, LinkedIn messages, I'm not going, hey, checking in. I mean, sometimes that's one of the things that might be in the message, hey, I'm checking in on the proposal, but I'm going to relate to something that we talked about in the proposal. You know,
Right.
I'm going to say, hey, I know we spoke about this, especially if they're ghosting you. If you haven't heard from them for 2 or 3 weeks, you know, touching back on the pain points that they had that you discussed in that discovery call. Hey, is this pain point still an issue? Have you guys moved on to something else? Just to get information out of them, to ask those questions. You need to personalize to get them to answer to you. Because if you're like, hey, checking in on the proposal, have a great day, Alex, they're going to go, okay, I don't have any information for him or anything like that. And they're way less likely to interact with you, to respond to you, to give you information you need. If you come at them personally, as some of my videos I've had in the past, making them see you as a person, as a friend, as not just a sales guy, making it very personable and coming even across with the follow-ups, again, being personalized, makes them more likely to engage, makes them more likely to give you the information that you have to ask. And sometimes when you're that personal, sometimes they'll give you information that they're not even really supposed to let really out. When I say that, I've had customers that have come in and go, hey, Alex, you know, right now we have to put it on the back burner for the next 2 or 3 weeks. We have, issues in X, Y, and Z. We need you to follow up then. That's okay, perfect. Got the answer that I needed by being personal, by asking the questions, making sure that they're okay, making sure that their problems that they had addressed with me are either solved, or are they still needing to be solved, or what's going on. That's really important, because the way, as Kai will always say, the follow-up is key. And if you're boring with your follow-up, no one's going to respond to you. Even if they do have that need, being boring with follow-up, they're immediately going to say, if you were personable in the beginning and then you're not all of a sudden not personable in the follow-up, they're going to go, oh, all he wanted to do was to sell me and get me quoted. And people don't want that. Even though we know, and you, people that are purchasing from you, know that you're a sales guy, they don't want to feel like they're just a number. They want to feel like you're there to help them. They want to feel like your whole company's there to help them. The product that you are selling, or the service that you're selling, is there to make their lives easier. So they want to feel special. And that's really what this whole personalization thing is really making your client and your potential customer feel special, because they are.
Yeah. And so, I mean, like Alex said, just even the first follow-up, touching back to the pain points, right? Hey, Joe, I know that when we first talked 2 months ago, you said that this was a major issue and it was preventing you from doing X, Y, and Z. I'm following up to see if that's still as important to you, or if something else has taken priority, right? That's one way to do it. You can say, like, you want to pull into some sort of conversation that you had. I know that you guys were looking at a Q2 start date. In order for us to hit that, you're going to need to implement this, get the purchase order for this machine at this point. Or I know that this SpaceX program is coming through the pipeline. It's supposed to launch on 9/1, and you guys need this equipment in place by 7/1. In order for that to happen, let's work backwards 12 weeks. I'm going to need a PO from you on this date. So you're going into it being like, I'm here looking out for you. This is less about me getting the deal, and it's more about you solving your problem. And in order for you to solve your problem, and I've developed a solution to it, then we have to get it done by this date. And just continuing to follow up in methods like that, I feel like that's the best way to do it. And it's going to get the most attention, like Alex said, makes them feel special. And they all should be special to you, because you got to be out there to solve a problem. If you're out there just to collect a check and close a client, then you're going to get bored real quick. Or when the shit gets tough and it's not going your way, you're not going to have enough drive to keep going. If you're not actually looking to solve people's problems, you're just going to be like, hey, I don't have it in me today. I don't want to close anybody, or I don't want to make any outbound type activities, because you don't believe in the product you're doing. You don't believe in the service. So I think those 3 things, outbound, the pitch, and follow-up, those are the key areas to personalize. There's a lot of meat in between. All right, that's it. So I'm going to get out of here before you guys ask any more questions, and I can go about my day. And before Riley says, wait a minute, there's one more last minute one. Head over to YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel, turn on notifications. If you guys want to listen to this in podcast form, every major podcast platform, industrial sales and marketing with me. We go live twice a month to talk about sales on Thursdays, once a week. So 4 times a month on Tuesdays, industrial marketing. Connect with me, connect with Alex. I'll see you on the next one.
See you guys.